Good morning and welcome to 365 Days of Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 86. And I've got a short little story to tell you. It is about two Buddhist monks, and a woman. Now, as you might know, if you take the vows as a monk, part of that vow that you take is a vow to celibacy and, well, in most cases, to not have, if you're a man, to not take company with women. In fact, you're not supposed to touch them in many instances and in many monasteries, because you're supposed to eliminate that influence from your mind. Not a difficult thing to do, to eliminate something from your mind. It's like trying to stop thinking, which tends to be a pretty difficult thing to do. Now, there are meditation techniques with mantras and all that help you to stop thinking. And we'll find out what happens here to one of our dear monks. Now, it was in Nepal that they were traveling. And they were traveling from one monastery to another, carrying almost nothing with them, robed as they normally were, and walking together, chatting away as they went. Now, it was a rainy part of the year. And when the rains come in the mountains, the streams tend to fill to a point that they normally don't, to a point where, well, it's difficult to cross them. Bridges sometimes wash out depending on how big a downpour it might be. Roads get washed away. And so travel, not only for the monks, but for anyone in those mountains, can get difficult. Those of us that live in these mountains of Big Sur for very many years all know what it's like to have roads go out, and intense storms and flooding, and all of that. And it changes things when it's like this. You're confronted with dangerous situations sometimes, which, could bring, well, you could end up having something not so great happen. So you have to be careful, thoughtful. Now, as the two monks are walking along, everything seems pretty good. It's a beautiful day, clear, sunny, a little windy, but a very nice day. Now they get to a river. Well, looked like a river at that point, this stream pouring out of the mountains. And it's just the rapids where the water is pouring over the rocks. Well, it looks pretty difficult to get across. And as they're approaching this stream, they see that there's a person standing there. As they get closer, they realize it's a woman. And she has a small pack on her back that she's carrying some things. And she's looking at the stream, obviously not feeling at all like she can cross. Well, the monks get there and they look at the stream and they feel like it's doable. They can get across. And the first monk begins to enter the water to cross. And he's got a staff with him and he's prodding along the bottom with the staff to see where the rocks are and where he should put his feet. If you've ever tried to cross a stream that's flowing pretty vigorously, you realize it's like you've got to be careful with every step. If you put it on a slick rock, your foot can't hold on, and away you go, down the stream. So the monk begins his way across. The second monk is about to enter the water when the woman asks, "Could you carry me across?" Now remember, he's supposed to have nothing to do with women, and here he's being asked to carry this woman across. He doesn't think about it for more than a few seconds, and he says, "Of course." Because what is he to be as well but in service? And if you're in service, well, to God, then you're in service to all of God's creation, I guess, right? You're here to serve. And when you're asked to do something, then obviously the response would be yes, of course. So the monk stoops over a little bit so that she can jump up on his back. She wraps her legs around his waist, and she wraps her arms sort of around his neck. And he says, hang on tight. And with his staff, he begins to make his way across the stream. Now, by the time all this had taken place, the first monk was already across, and he turns and looks, and his eyes open wide. He's a little dumbstruck that his comrade, his friend, his fellow monk is carrying a woman across the stream, and he thinks, oh my gosh, she's gone. He's broken his vows. It's what is left for him. Well, the monk carrying the woman, his full concentration is on every step. He doesn't want to lose his way. He doesn't want to drop her or create a situation for either one of them that is not good. So very diligently and with great focus, he painstakingly makes his way across that stream. And eventually, he's able to allow that woman to slide off his back on the other side, safe and sound and dry. She thanks him with folded palms. The two monks go on their way, and she goes on her way as well. They're going down the same road, but the two monks are faster, and they're walking ahead, and they've walked for quite a number of minutes, and there's really very little conversation that is going on between them. In fact, the first monk that crossed the stream is saying nothing at all. The second monk tries to get him into conversation about this or that, and he just won't even open up to say a word. And so he's wondering, well, what do I do here? I can see he's upset. Anyway, I guess there's nothing. Hopefully he'll come out of it. And so they just keep walking in silence. Hour passes. Second hour passes. They're still walking to that second monastery. And the first monk, at a certain point, you can tell he's very agitated. He turns to the second monk and he says, how can you have done that? How could you have lifted that woman, had that woman on your back, and carried her across the stream? You know it's completely against our vows. Now, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to... what do? I saw this. You've broken your vows. I don't know what's going to happen to you. I just can't believe it. You carried that woman across the stream. Second monk listens, and he allows the first monk to vent his interpretation and perception of the whole situation. First monk, he's angry, unforgiving, holding a grievance against his friend who's only tried to help out. And once things have quieted down again, they're into a walk, and it seems that that first monk has kind of regained his balance a little bit, the anger having been dissipated by saying what he said. The second monk turns to the first. He says, "You know, my friend, I did carry that woman across the stream. But when I set her down, I was carrying her no more. She asked for help. I could not walk away from her request. But you, my friend, I dropped her off on the other side. You have been carrying her ever since." Well, with that, the first monk stopped right there in the road. He looked straight ahead without saying anything at all. And he thought about what his friend had said. And he said, finally, "You are right." And the two friends continued on their way. How often our perceptions lead to interpretations. Our interpretations justify condemning a friend, holding a grievance against them. And though our friend may have done something that wasn't in accord with their own lives or even ours, usually they've dropped it. But we can carry grievances till the day we die. I know some people like that. Mention a person to them and they'll just, And what could have happened, or what happened, may have happened 40, 50 years previous. Creates a heaviness, I think. So, burdens, grievances, wrongs. Maybe it's a good thing to stop carrying them, lighten the load, put them down. That's the story for the day. 2 monks and a woman. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good rest of your day.